What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday and welcome to the Season Gaming Bitcast. This week, episode 142, and I'm joined by some really good people this week for a big week in gaming. In fact, there's big gaming announcements going on as we're recording this. So anyway, before we get to all those, let me jump over to my partner in crime, who is, for some reason, I can't figure out, celebrating Rihanna's birthday today.
We should all be celebrating Rihanna's birthday. We should be celebrating Rihanna every day of the year. But for God's sakes, let's at least take one day and appreciate the beauty that she brings to this world. And not only just physical way, but also through her wonderful music. And she's amazing. And I will worship her till the day I die.
I know that you're at least partially serious.
I'm 100% serious.
I did not know that you listen to Rihanna music like that.
Listen, I don't listen to a lot of R&B. I listen to some rap and stuff, but sure. Rihanna, her voice, amazing.
She does have a great voice.
Great voice. Yeah. Acting skills. I mean, if you've seen Battleship, it's so bad.
No, she doesn't need to act.
No, she absolutely does not. It just tarnishes her whole mystique. So, really just stay away from that, honey. I'll call you later. We'll talk.
Does this have any gaming relevance whatsoever?
No, I'm just
not at all.
Was there a Battleship game? It's a game.
Yeah,
I guess.
Technically,
that's about as close as I'm going to be able to get to tying these things together. But, just wanted to shout out.
Can we just agree that if you and I are ever hanging out and we run into Chris Brown, we're just gonna take him out?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Calm down.
He started.
And then joining us this week, Season Gaming Bitcast regular. Everyone here knows him, of course. Our friend from across the pond, the gaming enthusiast from Germany. What's going on, brother?
What is up? Thank you for having me again on the show. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
I miss you guys. Glad to be on the show today. We have a couple of awesome topics lined up. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about them.
Yeah, I can already see your name. So, I had to pull Lilith out behind me. I got excited this morning, and yesterday was a fantastic day, which we'll obviously get to shortly. What's going on, chat? Good to see everyone. We Wandering Dutch is actually going to join us as well. He said he's running a little bit late. I don't know if he's coming back from work or an engagement or something, but he should be here shortly. So we will get to him as soon as he jumps on. But for now, we can go ahead and get started. And one of the first things we're going to talk about is Xbox. And one of the major topics we want to talk about this week was around their game improvement technology. So earlier this week, they announced what they call Fps Boost, which kind of a simple name. But what this is it's a way for Xbox consoles, Series X, Series S consoles, technology that'll take older games and basically allow them to either double, sometimes quadruple frame rates, regardless of whether or not the game was originally designed for it. So I think that's what makes this topic most interesting is if you take a game that previously ran at, say, 1080p 30, just as an example, on Xbox One, this technology will allow it to run at, say, 1080p 60 on Xbox Series S or X without any necessary coding from the developer. That's the impressive piece about it. So they rolled this out with a handful of games this week, Watchdog 2. I know Super Lucky's Tale actually jumped all the way to 120 frames. I mean, probably makes sense, right? It's a pretty simplistic game. But I wanted to touch on this on the larger scale of the topic of not just this FPS boost, which is really cool, but Xbox's continued focus over the past couple years on game preservation and improvement between backwards compatibility, auto HDR, which, the more I see that on more of the games I play, the more impressed I am with it. Things like texture enhancements and improved anti-aliasing, like we've seen with some of the Xbox One original titles and even Xbox 360 titles, and now FPS Boost. So, I mean, Xbox is getting to a place where you can play a game that's 15, 20 years old, and it plays smoothly and looks like a game that may have been, maybe last generation instead. And so I know, Archimedes, you just did a video on some of this technology this week, as we always talk about here. Obviously, I think anyone here obviously checks out your channel and sees your videos. But if you're listening, make sure you do that. Of course, you can find the information in the description here. But why don't you give us your thoughts on FPS Boost along with Xbox's continued efforts on this game improvement technology?
Yeah, I mean, you already said a couple of things that are really unique about this. Besides the fact that it's a cool technology and we all love to play the games with higher frame rates, what Microsoft is doing for game preservation is just incredible, in my opinion. The whole backcompat service would be awesome enough if we could only play OG Xbox games, 360 games, now Xbox One games on one console. That's already a great service because they don't have to do that. It's not usual or common in the console business. But for them really go out and putting all this effort into the games, like you said, we had that already when we had the One X came out. Yeah, we had the increase in resolution to 4K and 16 times anisotropic filtering, and the games really looked amazing. I remember playing Oblivion again. Very early 360. I think it was a launch title for the 360. So it was a really old game.
It was very early in that window.
Yeah, and I was really surprised by how much detail you could suddenly see in the textures. And then when the Series X came out, Auto HDR, everyone should check out Arkham City. This is the game that I always say is a showcase for what Auto HDR can do. And now we have this frame rate boost. This is just an amazing fan service because I hardly think this is a business case for them. You don't pull in new customers into your ecosystem by offering such a service. Yeah, you might keep one or two guys in your ecosystem, but this is really just a service for fans and for game preservation. And it's just an incredible thing to do, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. That's what's most interesting. And, we talk, it seems like we talk every week at some level around Xbox's investment into games, new games and parties and everything. And we don't need to cover that again. But I think that's what's most interesting is this separate kind of engineering team, right? That they've obviously kind of funded and invested in are the ones doing this type of work. And it's just pretty amazing because for decades almost, we had generation after generation where they were hard lines. You really, you could never really just bring games forward or ever see them improved. We started getting paid remasters and remakes, as we're all intimately familiar with. But I mean, some of these games, to your point, Oblivion, Red Dead 1 was a great example. Yeah. There's some out there where it's night and day. Oh, I went back and played Psychonauts recently, the first one. And
how is it holding up?
Yeah, it's fantastic. It plays super smooth. I mean, I don't think there's any huge frame rate increase, but from a sharpness standpoint, I mean, you can tell it's an older game, but I mean, it's so much sharper than it was, on the Xbox and PlayStation 2, because that's nearly a 20-year-old game.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy. Yeah, and I think I don't know. I think this is something really special, and the more they improve this, the better it's going to get. So, Dan, what do you think, man? Have you tried anything with this FPS boost or anything else?
No, I'm not going to. I mean, not the ones that they put out anyway.
Sure.
Because I played all those. So there's really no. I mean, there's plenty of stuff to play now that I can get to. I mean, but this is cool. I mean, anybody that's upset about this move, I mean, is an idiot. I'm just gonna say it. I mean, it's you don't have to do anything. If you haven't played a game like Warcraft 4 or Sniper Elite 4, which are both, good games. Actually, I love Sniper Elite 4.
I was actually interested in Watchdogs 2 because I never finished that one, and it's rough to play on the Xbox One.
That game was rough for me because of the controls. Now, unless this thing somehow updates the controls, then I'm staying away from that one. But as far as visuals go, that was my biggest thing as far as my backlog. Like as soon as the new consoles came out, I tried to go back and play like The Last of Us 2. I can't. It's gorgeous, but it's I play stuff at 60. Yeah, the frame rate's garbage. like 30 FPS is now garbage to me. So
got spoiled.
All ruined.
I mean, I literally got spoiled in like 15 minutes after Valhalla. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I know.
and that was it. I was like, well, this is what it could be. Then why am I even wasting my time with this other stuff? So this is good for for people that have those games in the backlog that really kind of did, like myself, got spoiled a little bit with these awesome frame rates, and and say, oh man, I haven't really tried out these games. I hope they keep they're going to do more, obviously, which is awesome. And it's great. It's a nice bonus to whatever we have already.
Yeah.
So and
that's all it is. It's cherry on top, right?
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And fantastic, unless you're like allergic to cherries, and then you're nothing I can do for you. So,
speaking of the difference in feeling 60 frames, and we'll talk more about it later, but I'm playing Division again, and good Lord.
I went back onto it too, man.
I'm so
it's nuts.
It's so good.
Oh yeah,
it's night and day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow.
What are you guys hoping they do next? We have now increase in resolution, we have better frame rates, we have HDR added. What do you think they do next?
I mean, the TV tech, people aren't even, some of the LGs, they have the 120 right now, but until that I think catches up, I think you're at a good spot where you can graphically improve your games, get them to be more Gears of War, like, or even like Forza to an extent, and like, or God of War, something where the graphics, if you can push those and keep the 4K 60, I don't care about ray tracing. I'm going to be 100% honest with you guys. I think who cares? Because it seems like that's such a, from what Digital Foundry has said, they use the term expensive, and I understand what that means. I just as well get rid of that shit, because it's not, it doesn't change. It doesn't make that dramatic change as much as I think the 60 frames does, at least for me. I think it looks really nice, but when I go and play something like Spider-Man, I've tried all 3 modes on that game. I've kind of settled at even with the ray tracing 60 FPS that they have, I still settled at the straight frame rate, because it's just for me, I think that's better. I think it runs the best that way. Now ray tracing is nice, but I hope they push the graphic level first and then come back, like do a little bit more photorealistic. I'm not talking like 1-for-1, obviously. I'm talking like, get it looking really, really nice.
You're saying for the power that is required, the processing power that's required for ray tracing, that you would prefer they focus on frame rate or things like texture quality rather than
I'd rather them go where you've seen. I'm not going to take away anything from ray tracing. I've been playing Control, and I've kind of jumped back and forth, and it's just not worth the hit. Once you get to that smooth play, and that latency, is so much better with the frame rate being higher in performance mode. It's not even a question, really.
That's another game that highlights it really well. So I've been playing Control 2 because it's the first time I played it now on the PS5 with the Ultimate Edition, and I started in 60 and played it for hours, and I was like, you know what? I haven't even checked out the ray tracing mode. Let me do this real quick. Turned it on, played for like 30 seconds. I was like, this is horrible. This is horrible. I'm going back.
You can appreciate the reflections and all that stuff for about 30 seconds, like you said, and then you're like, but no, because the way, and then you get into a fight and forget about it. It just felt it felt almost archaic. Like
30 FPS is really hard to go back. I mean, I love ray tracing. I think people always use that phrase "holy grail of video game graphics," and it is. If you want photorealism, you have to learn to use ray tracing. I'm always saying the thing with ray tracing is it's a super young technology. I mean, we only have it around about 3 years now in the very, very high-end PC space. And developers really didn't get the chance to optimize the algorithms because there is really no business case for it. They don't get a lot of time or development time to improve these algorithms for ray tracing. But that's a good thing that the consoles do have it now on a hardware level, on the silicon level, because that really puts ray tracing into the mass market. And I do hope we get that to that point in a couple of years where ray tracing is affordable on a computational side. Yeah, it's affordable. Yeah. Today I'm also preferring the 60 FPS, but ray tracing is something you have to look into if you want to really improve the visuals. And we have only seen a small amount of what ray tracing can do. And I know a lot of people always talk about Control being a big showcase. I don't think it is. I think the best showcase for me that I've seen with ray tracing in a game at least is definitely Metro Exodus.
Okay,
it's really a night and day difference. When you want to see, there are a couple of YouTube videos out there where you have the direct comparison. This is really the best showcase you can watch for ray tracing, in my opinion. And yeah, but I get it. I also prefer to play in 60 FPS. I played Spider-Man also in the performance mode and not in the ray tracing mode.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this then: how long do you think it'll take to get to that point where we are seeing at least, let's say, 4K 60 with at least some elements of ray tracing?
It'll take till
on the
PS5 Pro. With the PS5 Pro
you think that these consoles can do it?
Well, we need to see, because remember, just last week, which we can talk about, and to your point about Metro Exodus, Arch, they said later this year, Metro Exodus on Series X and PS5 is going to be 4K 60 with ray tracing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we don't know how good the ray tracing is going to be or what level they're implementing yet.
Yeah, well, they already said they won't have ray trace shadows, for instance, and a couple of they have ray trace global illumination, but not ray trace reflections and stuff like that. So they are also bringing out an update to the game, or they didn't call it an update. They specifically said it is a complete new build because they changed their whole engine to take advantage of the NVIDIA 30X cards now. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to see that game in action. But to your point, Dan, I really think when we we'll see that 4K 60 with ray tracing as a standard is probably in 3 to 4 years, and that's when we get the new or the enhanced console. Yeah, that is probably the way until then is really, for me, the way where developers now have the time and budgets probably to learn to use ray tracing properly in their engines.
Yeah,
it's funny because it feels like every generation as we improve, you're always chasing that carrot.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, now we can do 4K 60. But if you want ray tracing, you got to go back to 30 or wait for next gen. And then we'll get the next gen and, you'll get 4K.
Else.
Yeah, 4K 60 ray tracing, but we don't have, whatever the next fancy thing is for technology. And it's always chasing that carrot.
Yeah, 4A games, I mean, they kind of got into it early with Metro, early as far as the ray tracing and stuff goes.
They were one of the first kind of fully advanced ones.
So they've got that, background, and I think they can probably work up some wizardry to make it at least, I'm excited for it. I mean, that's actually one to finally get a game like that. That game alone would probably justify me, buying these consoles. Mm-hmm. Now, not saying that I haven't got my money's worth out of them, for sure I have, but that's my carrot, I guess. That's the one thing that I've been wanting. My TV only goes 60 FPS.
Yeah,
60 hertz. It's whatever it is, but it can't do the 120.
Yeah.
So that's never, and eventually I'll get one. I'm looking to get one, but it's just. I just can't. I'm afraid if I do that, you go to that 120 FPS. So I've seen it on like my son's computer and his monitors and stuff. I'm like, damn, that looks insane.
Yeah, super smooth.
It's craziness. Yeah. So I don't want to ramp my expectations way up here, and I need to keep them down because comfortability and the lazy boy are much more important than sitting in a chair.
Well, I think that's, I had my buddy come over last night who plays a lot of Division 2. I mean, he's not a huge gamer, but he plays hundreds of hours of Division 2. And like a year ago, he moved to PC from Xbox One X. And, he obviously for rightful reasons. He has a pretty new PC, and it's super smooth, and he's now kind of sold on that. And I showed him Division 2 on Series X last night. He's like, oh man, he's like, yeah, this is, it's pretty much the same experience for the most part. He looks even better because I'm playing on an OLED in HDR versus his computer monitor. But it's like, it's just those steps. But I think, to your point, I'm definitely upgrading to 120 before Halo Infinite comes out. I got to play Halo Infinite at 120.
Yeah, but see, the thing with 120 frames is also that not every game needs that 120 frames. Yeah, for instance, I've been playing Ori and the Will of the Wisp in 120. To be honest, that game doesn't really benefit from it. Yeah. A fast-paced racing game like Dirt 5, that's probably something where we could talk about it. But again, 120 frames is also very expensive.
Yes, it is.
I think games, we always talk too much about graphics, but there are so many other things in games that in my opinion, should take a step forward, because we haven't really seen a lot of improvement in AI in games.
Correct.
We haven't seen over the last, let's say, 10 years or so, we haven't really seen much improvement in physics simulation.
True.
Yeah, and stuff like that, because those kind of things always fall short. I want that to improve. Yeah, I want a higher polygon count. I want a better AI. I want a better physics simulation, and I'd rather play in 60 FPS than in 120 frames if I can get a better simulation aspect. And so when we talk about all these things, the resolution, some people already talk about 8K. I don't want 8K. I'm good enough with 4K.
I can't even tell the difference between 4K and 1080. So I don't need another K.
You don't need more
Ks.
No, too many Ks.
There's always a sweet spot, Of course, 30 FPS, I totally agree, is garbage. You can't go back now after you've been spoiled with 60. But 120, I don't know. Not in every game, And the same goes for ray tracing, There are definitely games where you don't need ray tracing. They could do a lot of other things with the computational resources.
Right.
And I want people to talk more about these kind of things like AI, physics simulation, etc.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic point, and I think that's what always doesn't upset me, but you know what I mean, upsets me when I see people say like, well, every game should be this, and it's like, no, every game shouldn't be anything. There's very different ways in which you can approach game design depending on what you want the end product to be and what you're going for. So I think you're exactly right, Archimedes, in that 120 for something like Halo Infinite multiplayer is what I'm excited about. But I don't expect, I wouldn't expect other, say, a story-based game to be like, you already said it, like Ori, right? Or like Little Nightmares 2. Am I going to play that 120? It's not going to make a difference to me. Where they can put those resources better into lighting or shadows or anything else that would improve the experience more. You bring up a great point, though, about AI. I think that's something that we've heard about and been developers and tech companies have been talking about AI improvements for a very long time. And in the technology space, AI has come a very long way, even in the last 3, 4, 5 years. But we're not seeing that yet translate to games, because I think the problem is, you guys can tell me your thoughts. I think the problem is that AI improvements don't sell.
You can't show it. You can't show it in the trailer, nothing you can, in advertisement or anywhere else.
Exactly. Like, imagine, for instance, and this is just theoretical, but imagine, for instance, Witcher 3 felt like it does today, say 4K 60, or when we get the next gen patch, PC, whatever. But hundreds of characters in that world had unique personalities and would respond to you in realistic ways. And they were, not pre-programmed to do certain behaviors, but they would react to you and other world events around you. I agree. If, those are the types of improvements I really want to see gaming go to, that we've been hearing about for a long time. We haven't seen it come to fruition yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Cyberpunk tried it a little bit, and they had a very complex world simulation mechanic underneath it. And, from what we have heard from the developers, is that this is one of the reasons why the game performed on the old consoles as it did, because it wasn't just for the graphics and frame rates. It's because these complex mechanics are underneath it. But there can, even Cyberpunk can be improved in a lot of ways with that AI and world simulation aspect, definitely.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I mean, it'd be nice to have, that as well, but you got to make cuts somewhere. So it really comes down to, I think for me, I guess there just has to be a balance between the two. Like I don't expect, to have, say I'm walking around and there's like 5 people and, based on the way their head is facing, I pull a gun out and those 2 people see me and they react. And then 2 seconds later, the other guy, turns around and sees why these people are screaming. I mean, something like that would be awesome. But, what do I have to sacrifice to get to that point, I guess, is what I'm asking. I don't know, and if it's, graphical quality or frames or, ray tracing or whatever it is, or something else that's running under the hood, what I guess it would have to be, you'd have to just kind of weigh, which would be more important at the time, as opposed to, there are times like you guys talking about Cyberpunk where like you hit something and all 20 people that are standing there all duck down at the same time and put their heads over there and do this kind of thing. Like,
it's pre-programmed, right?
Right. Yeah. It's just, but and that didn't bother me so much, because whatever, I'm not paying attention as much to those people, like NPC characters and stuff that I am, to what's actually happening in front of me.
Yeah.
So that needs to look sharp, it needs to look good, at least where my focus is, but to your point, I would still love to see it. I'd still love to see this kind of mixture of, better AI and better graphical quality. And, I don't really get the whole tech side of stuff and how it works. I have a general idea, but whatever, man, just give me some stuff I can play. That's awesome. That's always my thing.
Let me get to the chat. So first of all, Marion, stop it. We're not talking about Anthem 2.0 this week. Although, we mentioned it last week. We heard all this news about EA making this decision. Nothing's been said.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask what happened to it.
I don't know. We went another week and nothing's been talked about, which I would have to imagine. Maybe I'm being pessimistic, but wouldn't you think if they had decided to invest in it and, you know what I mean, really focus on bringing this out, wouldn't they have announced that, someone from the team would have announced that they're moving forward?
Yeah, they're probably just looking for places for those 30 people right now. That'd be my guess.
So quick update. Sadly, Dutch, who just posted in chat too, he was supposed to be on with us this week. He's running behind. He said he's still not going to be home for at least another 30 minutes, sadly. So we're going to have to take a rain check on Dutch. I am talking to him later this week about something else. So just stay tuned. He'll be back on the Bitcast. Hopefully, maybe next week, maybe in a future episode. So that's a shame, but Dutch, hope everything's good, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Cool.
All right. And, real quick comment here, Chris West. Funny as I found a lot of games, Fable series, whether you're good or evil, whether it was cheering, screaming, running away, not perfect, but fun. Yeah, and I think that's, especially Molyneux. Molyneux always had these grandiose ideas, many of which didn't come to fruition. But, first Fable is a good example of when they started to kind of dive into these things and having AI characters in the world react to you, depending on what you were doing. And we've seen that evolve, but not nearly to the level that it could, theoretically. So, in time. Pompa's in the house, $4.99 super chat. Would you guys say GTA 5, The Last of Us 2, and Red Dead Redemption 2 are the ones that have made some improvements in AI? You guys can share your thoughts here. So I would say from a world perspective, GTA 5, you put GAT 5, I just realized, but GTA 5 and Red Dead 2, 100%. In fact, one of the things I often pointed out in Red Dead 2 is that the animal ecosystem in Red Dead 2 is not scripted. It's actually each individual species is programmed in its own way, and they react to each other live. So, for instance, if there's you can see like a squirrel running over there or a mouse, right? And if there happens to be an eagle in the location, the eagle will swoop down and grab it off the ground, which is not scripted. That's actually just the world performing. So, I would say, in my opinion, Red Dead 2 is one of the prime examples, maybe the best example
I
of
think you're right.
what you've seen in real-time world reaction. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that one.
No, The Last of Us 2, the characters felt like the NPCs. They all felt, I guess, unique, but I think that's because they just made them scream random names. But I mean, really, you could trick the AI there. You could once you figured out the pattern, and it really wasn't. I don't want to say like area based. It was like, yeah, these guys are all going to do the same thing over and over again. They feel a little bit more unique, due to the conversations that they have with each other. But eventually and ultimately, they always patrol the same path. They don't really change it up very much, but with, like you said, with Red Dead 2, I think that's a whole different level, even more so than GTA 5.
Big time.
Yeah, big time.
Way more than GTA 5.
I would, but that's a humongous game. And what was like an 8-year development or something?
8-year development cycle and over 1,000 devs.
Insane.
So it shows you what it takes to put something like that together.
Right.
Yeah.
You really got to be super committed. Do I expect that out of every game? Absolutely not, because that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be awesome, but also crazy.
Well, to like Archimedes said, is that doesn't fit every game.
Right.
It made sense in Red Dead 2 because you're in the Wild West. There's, they built the animal ecosystem for that game, but that doesn't make sense in a lot of games.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like you said, Red Dead 2 and the aforementioned Cyberpunk are the two best examples I can think of right now as well. Yeah. Yep.
Agreed. But yeah, so it's to your point, right? You made a great point, and many people don't realize that about Archimedes, but CD Projekt Red has talked extensively about that and how the world is layered and built. And that is exactly, to your point, what complicated the older systems so badly. Now, that's, again, as we always say, that's not to excuse it. They knew they were building for the older systems, right?
Absolutely. They targeted it for like 8 years or whatever.
So that's not to excuse it, but that is what caused some of those problems. Yeah. So, chat, what's going on, man? Good to see everyone. Faz, Sark, Pat, what's going on, guys? So thanks for coming by. If you missed it, like I said, sadly, Dutch is running late and not home, so he was going to join us today. Is unable to join us live, but we'll get him on soon. So, man, that started as an Xbox FPS conversation, so we moved all over the place. But great conversation, man. I love topics like that. Let's talk about BlizzCon, man. BlizzCon is happening as we speak. Day 1 was yesterday. Day 2's today. I believe actually day 2 kicks off in like half an hour. But we saw a lot yesterday. And, I'm not the biggest Overwatch guy. I'm not a World of Warcraft guy, but we saw a lot of Diablo, which made me a very, very happy person. We've been hearing about Diablo 2 remaster, which is called Resurrected. We've been hearing about it for a while. They officially unveiled it yesterday with just generally fantastic news, which is it's coming this year. It's coming to PC and consoles, including PS5, Series X, Series S, and has cross progression. Now, they didn't say cross play, but it has cross progression. So if you want to kind of move your characters around, obviously jump to PC, back to console, what have you, you can do that. So I don't know about you guys. Diablo is a franchise that is incredibly close to my heart. And I was thinking earlier, between Halo, Battlefield, and now Diablo all coming this fall, and possibly Forbidden West as well, Horizon, I'm not going to be able to leave the house, guys.
Yeah.
It'll be hard.
Yeah. So let's talk Diablo. So we got Diablo 2 Resurrected. We did see Diablo 4, including the Rogue trailer. So if you haven't checked that out, there's about a 5-minute cinematic trailer mixed with actual gameplay from the Rogue class for Diablo 4. Diablo 4 does not have a date, which, obviously the focus for this year is to launch Diablo 2 Resurrected. So Diablo 4 maybe late next year, maybe. And they also showed...
They put it to 2022 a few weeks ago. That and Overwatch 2 got delayed, I think, at the same time.
To
2022.
That was from a Blizzard earning call.
Oh, okay.
Where they said it wasn't coming in 2021. So,
okay.
Yeah. So, but Yeah, I mean, we can presume or hope, I should say, that it comes late next year. And then, of course, Diablo Immortal. I'm not a mobile guy or phone guy, so I'm not as interested in this. But for a mobile game on the phone, it looks incredibly impressive. So I already see, Ark, you got Diablo hyped, Ark. I know you're with me on this one, and I know a lot of people were happy yesterday. So what are your thoughts here?
I'm so super happy. Yeah, I mean Diablo 2. It's hard to fact check this, but if I would have to name a game that I played most, it's probably Diablo 2. I have spent thousands of hours in that.
And you're not alone. Lots of people.
Yeah. That is just something that is really near and dear to my heart, that game. I love it. And we have heard rumors about that remaster for a while now, that it actually comes this year. I'm so super hyped. I wonder why they call it a remaster, because if you really look at what they changed, you can easily call it a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did completely new animations, new textures, new lighting. They recorded the sound effects to have 7.1 support. Yeah, they did all the cutscenes new. So I don't know. I would call it a remake, but yeah, I'm super happy. And like you said, this fall is going to be crazy. We have Halo coming. We have probably Horizon Forbidden West coming. We hear Starfield might come, and now this. It's going to be a very, very busy fall.
Yeah, man. I'll put up for the people who are watching this live or on YouTube later. We did get a bunch of new screenshots this morning from Diablo 2 Resurrected, which just looks great, man. I mean, I love that they kept Diablo already has a unique art style, right? But it kind of looks and feels just like the classic, but just a lot sharper, a lot cleaner. Love that image there of Tyrael, is it? Going off from memory, I forget his name now. But anyway, it's just super pumped about this. And I even said, just like if you remember Halo Anniversary, you can switch between old graphics and new while playing it. So it'd be cool to just kind of flip that switch, for the classic flashbacks.
That would really be cool. Yeah.
I don't think you're alone. There's a lot of people I know who are big into Diablo, who still to this day, even as far as Diablo 3 has come and changed since launch, we won't talk about Diablo 3 at launch because it was abysmal. But Diablo 3 now is incredible, but people still hold that Diablo 2 is better. So
I say
it again. I
built a PC for Diablo 2. I mean, that's the first and last one I ever built. So it's probably my favorite PC game of all time. It's amazing. I mean, just amazing. And is Vicarious Visions working on this now with them, or were they in any part?
So they didn't announce it yesterday, but that came out previously.
Okay, so I mean,
talent,
we've seen what they can
talented.
do with. They're crazy talented. So I mean, even if they're coming in late stages of the game, just to kind of throw some polish on it and spruce it up a little bit, fantastic. I mean, this is, we knew it was coming. I've been super pumped for it for a while. I'm super pumped for Diablo 4 as well. See how that goes. Take your time on that one. You're going to have plenty of stuff to do in Diablo 2, it looks like. And, it looks like it's going to have all the DLC right with it.
Everything that was released. There is an expansion some people don't know for Diablo 2 that was never released.
Chapter 5.
It was in development, but according to
another one.
A different one, yeah. But according to people I saw kind of talking about it, is that's long scrapped. It's never coming back. So it's a remaster of everything that was available.
That was actually released.
Yeah. Let me get to a couple questions real quick. Oops, sorry, not that one, Elu. So, Chris, you guys think our friends over at Next Level Gaming Podcast, you guys think we're getting updated Diablo 2 because of Rod Ferguson? He did the same for Gears 1 remaster. So I think you guys can tell me if you know differently, but I believe this was already in development.
I would think so.
Yeah. So I think that, I'm pretty sure they planned on doing this anyway. Now, Rod is a fantastic leader of projects, getting projects kind of where they need to be from everything we've heard across the industry. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's helped in that regard. But I think we would have got it anyway.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it only makes sense to have that out a year or two before Diablo 4 comes out, because let's face it, Diablo 3 is already now a 10-year-old game. Or 8-9-year-old game, by the time Diablo 4 comes out, it's definitely going to be 10 years. That's quite a lot of time, and it brings back the memories. It brings back people to talk about the franchise, and so that's definitely a smart move there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I built my old PC. I built for Diablo 3 when that launched on PC. Crazy. And as bad as it was with the real money auction house, and you can never find legendaries, and all your loot would have roles on it that your character couldn't even use. It was a mess at launch, but I still had fun. Pong's in the house. He says, "What are our mains in Diablo 2?" I honestly don't know. I think I may try something new. I really love the druid, but who knows? I think there's 7 classes. Is that right?
8. Weren't there 8? I think with the add-on, we're 8. 8 classes. I usually play wizard. I'm always a damage dealer, wizard kind of guy.
Got that glass cannon.
Yeah.
Man, I think when I first played it, it was probably the barbarian, and and then once the necromancer came out, I think that was like later on. Love that character. I mean, it was it was just me building as many. There was.
You talking Diablo 3?
That was Diablo 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the same classes in 3.
Yeah. I was going to say Necromancer came out as DLC for 3. That's why I was.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Okay. So, I played the Necromancer. Barbarian was first. Played through that. Played the Necromancer. Yeah. Then when the Assassin came out, I think was the DLC, or it was the Lord of Destruction, I think is one of them.
Yeah.
So that one was really cool too. That one had like the claw blades and like kind of the Wolverine style stuff. Super fun. I mean, I kind of try to play it as everything. I think the only ones I really didn't were probably the Amazon. I never really used her. So
I think that's what's so fun about Diablo is, even you can go through the whole game, max level a guy, do some end game content, but then you can start over with a new character and it just feels completely different.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. Matt, not sure what I expected. Enjoying it. Just started playing Diablo 3 yesterday. I don't know where you've been for 9 years, Matt. We'll forgive you on this one, but it is a good time to get into it. I mean, Diablo 3 is incredible, and the amount of content in that game now is mind-boggling.
Crazy.
Yeah, you can put.
When you remember 2 months ago when we did that generation in a review show, I was putting together my list of favorite games from the Xbox One and PS4 generation, and of course I wanted to put in Diablo 3, but then I realized that isn't an Xbox One or a PS4 generation game. That game came out on the 360. It's really an old game, and but it has improved so much. There's so much in it now. I even bought it now on the Switch.
I was going to, and I still have a copy of the 360 because my son's played it on there as well. So just crazy. I've bought Diablo 3 probably 6-7 times.
Yeah, I've got it on the Switch. I'm pretty sure I have it on the PlayStation. Wasn't it free there? Maybe it wasn't. But I got it on.
Doesn't matter. I know you bought it anyway.
Yeah, I bought that. And then I got it on Xbox for sure.
Yeah.
PC. I don't do a lot of PC gaming, but you had to.
Yeah, at the time, yeah. Joseph, are we going to talk about WoW Burning Crusade Classic? Yeah, I was going to mention it. I'm not up to speed. You know what I mean? I don't know the details of this, but I know this was a big announcement. So on World of Warcraft, they're getting Burning Crusade for the Classic, and they're getting the expansion, and I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head. What is it called? Chains of Domination for the Shadowlands update in modern WoW. So again, I think for WoW players, this was another great day yesterday. I know Steve, who writes for the site, is a big WoW player, and I know Cloud plays some as well, and they're both really excited. So it's awesome. You guys dive into that. I know, Dan, I can't remember. We always talk about this.
I did. Back in the day, I was a huge WoW head. I got out of it. And then Legion kind of brought me back in when it came out. And then I immediately looked at myself and I was like, I've got to stop. I remember why I left playing this damn game. So like I lasted about a month, and I said no. But the Burning Crusade and WoW Classic could be awesome.
Nice.
Nice. So but I'm trying to fight it. Like I really hope they don't ever port it over to the Xbox and or PlayStation, because then I'm screwed.
I am kind of surprised. You guys surprised at that we haven't seen WoW come off of, onto another platform yet? I know the menu and the UI is very complex in that game, which would be very hard on a controller, but I am surprised we haven't seen it in some form. It's just such a big game. You
need like an Elite version 3 with 32 paddles and something. It would be insane. I mean, you could probably pull it off.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
I'm sure they could do it somehow. I don't know. Archimedes might have just had a network issue. I did not know that he was dropping, so I'm sure he'll be back in a moment. Nice. We also saw. Wait, Chris, I'm going to talk about the PGA a little bit later. Just realized you killed my score in Nation Call. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. What was I going to say? Blizzard Collection, Arcade Collection. You see this one? Yeah, so $20 has Lost Vikings, which was obviously a very popular game at the time, Blackthorn. But most surprising here to me was Rock and Roll Racing. So Rock and Roll Racing was a Super Nintendo game, which was kind of like a modern RC Pro-Am, but it had kind of cooler cars you could customize. And the whole thing about it was it had licensed music. So it had like Black Sabbath, it had like Metallica, it had all this kind of old metal, right? And we've never seen it kind of come back because I think of the licensing concerns. So I was very surprised to see this listed and now available. As Elu, I think, said in the chat, it's on PC as of yesterday, but it's now on consoles as well. So really cool to see that game come back.
Didn't the Metallica play at their convention?
Yeah. They're looking old, man.
Dude, they had to mute them on Twitch because of DMCA issues. Like they played like, I don't know what kind of music it was. Some kind of, like, you see Metallica, like,
yeah.
Fantastic. Like, it almost
they can still play.
Happy. Yeah. They can still play. I loved Metallica back in the day.
Yeah.
I think they literally, it was like a self-ownage, which was fantastic. Just watching them basically have to be muted because of what they started with Napster. It's just, the irony.
It was real thick.
Yeah. It was fantastic. Loved it.
Hey, Art, you back?
Hey, I'm back. Hopefully. My Wi-Fi was gone, so I had to restart the router.
No worries. I figured something happened. So the only other thing we just mentioned, Ark, was around the Blizzard Classic Collection, which was it's out now, $20, Lost Vikings, Rock and Roll Racing, and Blackthorn. And I was mentioning how Rock and Roll Racing is a classic, but we've never seen it come back because of the music licensing issues. Mm-hmm. So really cool to see that come back too in this new collection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Overwatch 2. I'm not a huge Overwatch player. I played it quite a bit early on.
Not my type of game. Not my type of game.
No, not your type of game either. So you've got 3 people sitting in front of you who are not very well educated. We should have had Benji on for this conversation. He could probably talk for like an hour on Overwatch.
I think Dutch 2 as well.
Yeah. See, damn it. So anyway, but I did want to mention it, because it is a huge game, tens of millions of players. Yeah. Originally, it was left out of the keynote, so people got really upset, like, where's Overwatch 2? But then, of course, they went into a deep dive. So we do have kind of a thread on our site that's a live kind of feed of what's going on in BlizzCon. And I know there's like 4 or 5 different videos of Overwatch 2 now, including voice acting for the characters, the new skills and trees that they're building into it, level design, all these things. So
single player stuff, man.
Say it again?
Some single player stuff.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but
that's gonna make me buy the game for like $80 or whatever it is. I'm gonna buy it and play it's gonna be like 3 hours of stuff, and then I'm gonna be like, damn it.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Half-hour campaign, and that's it.
Yeah, that's typically what Dan's gonna do, right? Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that's what I do with Call of Duty all the time. I only play the campaign.
I've held off this year amazingly, so we'll see what happens.
Joe said, "Put me in, coach." Hey man, you know what the link is, Joe. Hop in here, man. You're welcome. Come on in. You can talk Overwatch too. I don't mind. But you can find all the links on the site. So I mean, if you're a fan of Overwatch, it's been a good day. I'm sure we're going to see more details on things today too. I mean, that was just the first day, so pretty cool regardless. All right, guys, let's change gears a little bit. We talked lots of demons and Diablo. Now we're going to the complete opposite of that, which is Nintendo Direct. We got the first Nintendo Direct in over 500 days. So it had been like a year and a half since we had a Nintendo Direct. We got that this week. We can obviously talk about our personal thoughts on the overall show. But, you know, the big things here, and we don't have to go line by line, but the big things here were Mario Golf is coming back. It's called Super Rush. It has campaign in it, like a story mode, and it also has what they're calling Speed Golf, which is a 4-player multiplayer where you hit the ball, you literally run to your ball, hit it again, and it's a race/competition with your friends, which actually looks pretty cool, to be fair. I could get into that. That's coming out June 25th. And then we saw Project Triangle Strategy. As I said before the show, the dumbest name I've ever seen on something official for a game. But the demo is out now, and this is kind of like a modern Final Fantasy Tactics style mix with like Octopath Traveler, graphical design, artistic design. And this isn't coming out, I believe, until next year. But like I said, the demo's out now, and that looks pretty damn good as well. We got new characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Pyro and Mithra. And then the big announcements, I think, were Zelda Skyward Sword HD remasters coming out June 16th, alongside new Joy-Cons that you can, obviously are themed like the Master Sword and Shield. That was originally a Wii title in 2011. And then lastly is Splatoon 3. They end cap the show with Splatoon 3. Simply saying that it's coming in 2022 next year. So there's a lot of other games they showed. You can find the whole list on our site. I'm not going to go one by one on them. But, for me, guys, there wasn't a lot here that interested me. And I think more surprising than anything that people, no Metroid, not even at all. Nothing even mentioning Metroid. Yeah. And they had the Zelda producer come on near the end of the show, which obviously everyone's mind immediately went to Breath of the Wild 2 and hoping for some sort of update there. Yeah. And he started by saying, I don't have any Breath of the Wild 2 info for you, which was the biggest tease I think I've seen in a show yet. Not a lot for me here. What were your guys' thoughts? Arch, I'll start with you, man, on this show. And is there anything that really jumps out to you?
Not at all. I have to. It was, to be honest, it was such a disappointment. I was hoping, they finally are back with their Nintendo Directs. They said that they focus on what's coming in the next 6 months. So I didn't expect much from Metroid, but at least that teaser that they did with Splatoon, Metroid 2022, that would have been at least something to give me. Then, is it tomorrow? I think it is tomorrow. We have the Zelda Anniversary, 35 years of Zelda, and we get nothing for that. We got Skyward Sword, the worst Zelda game ever made.
Arch is coming in hot.
Not wrong.
As a lame HD remaster. Give it at least a Zelda collection like we had from Mario last.
Did we lose Arch again?
Maybe.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Nope, he's kind of in and out.
Yeah, you might be having some Wi-Fi issues. Damn
it. Yeah, message him.
Just when he was getting going, too.
Yeah, he was getting mad at Skyward Sword.
Can you guys hear me again?
No, there you
my
are.
Wi-Fi
now we
is so
can.
bad.
There you are.
Okay. So I don't know.
Continue the rant. Continue it. Go right back into it.
Okay. So I would have imagined that they give us a Zelda collection like we had with the Mario collection last year, where we had 3 games. Now we have 1 game, and it is the Zelda game that probably everyone was not asking for. Give us a Ocarina of Time HD remaster, or I would want a Twilight Princess, but So there was really not much in there, and I'm happy for the a lot of people enjoy Splatoon. And to be honest, I never played it, so I can't really judge. And it obviously doesn't excite me a lot. But at least that was one announcement that I can give them. But the rest, I wanted more.
I did too. I at least wanted some type of update on Metroid, whether it be like a Prime Trilogy remake or obviously Metroid 4. Prime 4. I thought I agree with you. I'm not the biggest Zelda fan. I talk about that all the time, but I think just for fans, this seems like a weird choice. And I'm
a huge fan. It's one of my absolute all-time favorite franchises. I've played them all multiple times, except Skyward Sword because it really isn't good.
It just seemed off in that regard, especially for something that. Like we said, we hadn't had a direct in a year and a half or whatever it was. The other thing that's kind of egregious in my opinion is, people immediately started pointing out that in 2011 on the Wii, you could get the Skyward Sword bundle, which was the game in a collector's edition kind of box and a special Wiimote, right? The Skyward Sword one for $60. And here, 10 years later, we're getting a remaster, which is, minimal remaster, right? It's Nintendo. $60 for the game, $80 for the Joy-Cons. It just seems crazy to me, man. I mean, I know we talk about it a lot here with Nintendo and just cashing in on their fan base, but is the fan base ever going to kind of push back a little bit on this stuff? Doesn't feel like it. Feels like they just constantly are good with it.
Yeah. Agree. I don't get it. I'm part of the problem because I buy a lot of the Nintendo games again and again. Yeah, I bought the Mario 3D collection with the 3 games. Yeah. I didn't buy the what was it called? The Wii U Mario that they just
3D World with Bowser's Fury.
Yes, exactly. I didn't buy that because here's the thing: if you release, then re-release the good ones. It's the Wii U Mario wasn't bad. I mean, but it wasn't definitely the best Mario out there.
I agree.
And now they have probably one of the Zelda games that has the smallest fan base I can think of. And then do a Wind Waker or Ocarina or Majora's Mask or something like that, where you have an actual fan base. At least re-release the good games, like you said, Metroid. Why don't they re-release Metroid? Instead, they re-release Skyward Sword and Bowser's Fury. So,
yeah, it's definitely strange to me, but for me, I mean, I love the look of Project Triangle. I love that kind of 16-bit modern art style and the ideas behind it. But I said the same thing about Octopath, and I bought the collector edition at launch. And Octopath, I couldn't get into it all. It did nothing for me.
I played the demo from Octopath Traveler, and I'm glad I did and didn't buy the game up front because not my type of game.
Yeah. Yeah, Dan, I know we hadn't talked about it, man. I mean, this whole direct, where were you on it? What do you think?
Golf, so that's like the only game. Like I was like, oh man, this is going to be the best direct ever because they kind of let off with that, didn't they? Or
it was early.
Yeah,
it was early.
Okay, fantastic. I haven't played Mario Golf since the original Game Boy. And I loved it.
Wow.
I loved Mario Golf on that Game Boy. That was one of my most played games. And so 100% day one on this one. It's got metered, button press, option, which is great.
Hashtag metered golf.
Hashtag accessibility. And and then it just slowly kept getting worse and worse and worse, culminating with the Skyward Sword, where they said, well, yeah, you use these Joy-Cons, like your sword and shield, but we implemented, also using the control pad for, your actions and stuff. So if you want to swing your sword, guess what you have to do? Use your thumbstick to swing your sword up. All right. Why? You basically went from awesome to garbage, and nobody wanted Skyward Sword. In fact, I think I watched Nick's show, the gaming perspective, and they were doing predictions on what they would see at the Nintendo Direct. And everybody was like, oh, yeah, well, hopefully we'll get some of this Zelda, this, maybe Ocarina or something. And then there was kind of like a small silence. And then Nick comes out and said, I hope you all get Skyward Sword. And sure as shit, that's what they got. I mean, it was insane. I mean, nobody saw that one coming. I mean, I bought the new Mario mostly for Bowser's Fury and because I never played the Wii U version of the other game. So like that, I'm okay with, but yeah, it's going to sell 20 million copies. I'm sure,
of course it is.
Something disgusting, and then
like Eli said here, I understand they're re-releasing Wii U games because nobody played them.
Yeah. I never played them.
Then re-release the good ones.
Yeah, pick better ones.
And I played Xenoblade Chronicles too, and I actually enjoyed it. It took me a minute to like actually register who these people were because it's been so long since I played it, and this is what people want. And this is what they, this is a whole different fan base than the PlayStation, Xbox,
Yeah.
So I don't understand it because I'm not there, I'm not in that ecosystem as much, and this isn't going to change anything, like anything they showed except for maybe Mario Golf. We got Monster Hunter coming out. That was great. Saw a little bit more of that. I'll definitely be getting that one. But
yeah.
It's just they can do whatever they want, and we say this all the time. It's just there's no accountability because I guess there doesn't have to be. If we represent like 10% of that group of fans, then they're not going to cater to those people.
Yeah,
they're going to find the easiest path to the most money. That's what they do, and they've done a very, very good job with it so far. And there's really no reason to deviate from that, from a business perspective, because it's working. So why do anything different?
I think that's what's so frustrating too, is we continue to see Nintendo's, annual revenue increase, year over year, and they're making billions and billions of dollars. And I said it before, it doesn't feel like they're reinvesting that money into, kind of new quality or the things fans truly want to see. They're just continuing to cash in on things, which is crazy to me. And we were talking about accessibility, and what's up, brother? Came in differently with Cerebral Paul. He said I couldn't do this controls. We're probably referencing Skyward Sword, right? So it goes back to the point we've talked about before. I mean, if you're cashing in on this, you're going to make a ton of money off of it. You're doing a bare minimum remaster or HD remake, whatever they're calling it. Make it more accessible. Give it, make sure you have options in there for people to play this game. Crazy to me.
Yeah, and like I said last week, in a world of accessibility, you need to make this kind of thing kind of standard now. It should be part of 100% of every game.
Yep.
And it drives me nuts.
Yep.
So
what about this, Dan?
Of course, who wouldn't be? I mean, that's crazy. I mean, that's you add it to anything. Add Rihanna to whatever you want.
Yeah, add Rihanna to every conference.
Yeah, whatever. Put her on a glass. I don't care. It's going to make the milk taste better that's in it.
Oh God!
I'm just saying, that's what happens.
But yeah, I think I'm almost in the same camp as you, Dan. Which is, I'll probably check out golf, and that may be about it from this whole thing. I mean, we got
entire year probably.
Say it again. Yeah,
probably for the entire year. I mean, because at this point, if we haven't seen any Metroid stuff, it really worries me.
It's not coming this year.
I mean, not even this year. I mean, I don't even know when. I mean, I know they're supposedly working on it. Take a little bit of time and make a little cinematic trailer, 20 seconds. Whatever it is. Just flash Metroid Prime trilogy on the damn screen.
Well, that's all they did for Metroid Prime 4. It's just said 4 and got people hyped like 3 years ago.
Yeah, but 3 years ago, there's nothing. I got nothing from it. I don't know.
What were you gonna say, Arch?
No, I'm 100% with Dan. Yeah, just a little teaser. But that's really the thing. What is coming from Nintendo then this year? Well, because Breath of the Wild not coming this year. No way. So what? Breath of the Wild 2. Yeah. So what is coming from them?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It was the same as 2020. I said the same thing about last year. It's like they did Animal Crossing in March and then just took a vacation.
Yeah. Well, they had Link's Awakening. Oh no, that was 2019.
Yep.
Luigi's Mansion was 2019 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and I know, I mean, the development across everyone is hindered a bit right now. I get that, but it is crazy to me. And like we've said many times on the show, it doesn't matter. The Switch is the best-selling console every month. It's breaking every record there is, and yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, Joe's right here. He said they kind of announced it like, look, we know you don't like this, but it kind of inspired Breath of the Wild, which is, you know, what they did. They're like, see, it's got mechanics like this, and it felt really weird. Yeah, I don't know. And what we already talked about, I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the show or last week, Paul, but yeah, we talked about this too. They're just doing a really good job with accessibility, and so are you know, individual studios, right? Like I think Last of Us 2 for Naughty Dog. There's been other studios that have really kind of taken the accessibility very seriously, which is great. All right, we'll move on from Nintendo Direct because I don't think we have a lot more to say on it, to be honest with you. So you know what we got to talk about, guys?
Jesus.
Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat. You watch the trailer?
Of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we all thought it's going to be bad, and now we're all surprised.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Really?
true. It looks good.
I am still at that point where I'm just like, yeah, it's probably still going to be really bad.
What? You didn't like the trailer?
I didn't say I didn't like the trailer. All right. I also loved the first one, you know, because it was so full of cheese.
Sure.
You know, so I don't know. I know one guy in that entire show. I don't even know who Cole is. So, I mean, it just kind of threw me off. It looks hilarious, and I don't know if that's what they're going for, you know, but, you know, whatever. You know, I'm going to watch it 100%, you know, but it doesn't look like it's, I mean, it might be Battleship, man. That's what I'm
Come on.
That's what I'm saying.
Battleship had Rihanna, right?
Yeah, now if Rihanna was in it.
Maybe Mortal Kombat has Rihanna and they haven't shown her yet. You don't know.
That could be all right. You know, I mean, and so, I mean, I know who, like, Joe Taslim, is that his name?
I don't know.
Yeah, the guy who's playing Sub-Zero.
Okay.
Right.
Sub-Zero looks amazing. You sold. Absolutely. As soon as Sub-Zero looked good, you sold me. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, he looks awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks amazing, man. I don't know. I'm a little. It looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It also looks like it's like a B movie, you know, cast. So that's about.
The thing is, there are only a handful of good video game movies. Yeah. And definitely not in that genre.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I was really surprised that I enjoyed that trailer, and I'm really looking forward to see that movie now.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it too, because, you know, like with the Hiroyuki Sanada, he's I love him.
Yeah, he's a big guy, big name guy.
I love that dude.
Yeah,
one of my favorite, you know, actors, and he's Scorpion. So I mean, it's that could be, that's the guy, right? That's gonna probably carry the movie for me anyway. You know, everybody else.
And you know, it's going to be, that's why they got the big name guy for Scorpion, because Scorpion's always kind of the lead. So
right.
I just hope Sub-Zero kills him and we can end this silly debate.
No, it's not going to happen.
So you're also on Sub-Zero's side.
Oh yeah, something better.
I'm hoping, you know, I watched like an in-depth trailer with the director's commentary. And, you know, he seems to, you know, like Goro, he talked a lot about him. He looks super cheesy, even for the CGI. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, he looks slightly better than the 1995 version.
Come on, the 1995 version is hilariously bad.
Hilariously bad. This one's just all animated now. So I feel like they used like some kind of, you know, actual puppet or Muppet or something for that one. Some kind of fucking Muppet back in '95. I don't know. It was so bad. But, you know, I mean, hopefully they he said it's got to be kind of a mix between, like, you know, the seriousness of the story and, like, but you also want to interject humor. So, you know, but you don't want to take that humor to, like, the net, you know, too far, right? Is what his comments were. And I kind of hope they do. You know, I kind of hope they push it a little bit, because from what I've seen, it was like a very serious toned trailer, but also it was almost taking itself too seriously.
I think what they were trying to highlight, because one of the criticisms of Mortal Kombat, right, of the movies, is they've never really accentuated the violence that the you know, the game's known for, and they show that the movie's going to do it.
Yeah, that Sub-Zero scene where he grabs the
Dude.
blood. Oh my god!
When he freezes Jack's arms and then just breaks them off.
Yeah, fantastic.
Or in the other one where he freezes the blood and icicle.
Yeah,
I was like, this is what I'm talking about. See, this is why Sub is better.
Over here.
Sham says, I hope there's at least a nod to the OG soundtrack. Yeah, right. They've got to get that Mortal Kombat tune in there at some point. You know,
hopefully it's like a training montage for Cole, whoever that fucking dude is. I still don't know.
Yeah, I thought Cole was maybe supposed to be representative of Johnny Cage, but
he's
his
an MMA
name,
fighter.
Johnny Cage's real name is not Cole. So unless I'm literally losing my mind, it's something. It's like John something. I forget. But anyway, so yeah, because if you think of the Mortal Kombat, kind of the games obviously have taken the lore in 30 directions, but the core story, right, is the kind of human people, which is Sonya, Cage, Jax, the military people go to this tournament, right, and kind of meet up with Liu Kang and Raiden, etc. So I don't know who Cole could be if he's not Johnny Cage. I don't see why they would add some just no-name protagonist. That wouldn't make any sense. I
mean, the way he explained it, I think, was that, you know, that the games always introduce new characters, like, you know, constantly, you know, and they even, you know, they were kind of going through like a montage of all these characters that they've introduced. It's
like 50.
Yeah, they added like the mocap guy, you know, like the, you know, with the bolts and shit on his head, you know. So he was kind of explaining, you know, so he thought that he could take that liberty, given the nature of the game and how they added, you know, they always add different characters and stuff and create something new. And it could be good. I mean, that might be the best part of the whole film.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, Ela says Cole's a new character, but seems like he's taking the place of Johnny, which is weird.
Yeah.
See, that if Cole's a new character, that's fine. You still got to have Johnny. Johnny's a classic MK character.
Yeah.
You still got to have him. And he's the funny one. Like Johnny, in the Mortal Kombat universe, Johnny is the comic relief.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's what he does. He's like the goofy martial artist. He was basically like a comedian version of Van Damme. That's what he was representing in the 90s when the game was created.
Gotcha.
So, all right. Yeah, I'm excited though, man. I think that's April 16th. Is that right? Yep. April 16th and on HBO Max.
So somewhere in April. It's not that far along, yeah. So
no, less than 2 months away. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but I think a bunch of us are doing like a watch party on it. Like when on HBO Max, when it debuts, we're going to get an Xbox Live, get in a party chat, and all watch it at the same time. So
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I have to check where it is aired in Germany, because we don't have HBO.
Oh, really? Well, you don't have HBO at all?
No, not all.
I mean, no offense, man, but your country sounds like it sucks. No HBO.
It sounds like
it. Wait, I'm just saying.
Hey, I was just there, and it was awesome.
It's probably gorgeous. Like, you're really not inspiring me to like make a trip there, man. Is what I'm saying. You know, between the lack of vaccines, the fact that we don't have HBO Max now, I can't. I'm sorry.
Yes, but
other things.
Then you drive 150 miles an hour while you're looking at the Alps, and all of that goes away.
Yeah, I would never be caught dead doing that, because I would be shitting my pants the entire time. Like, I would be in the granny lane of the Autobahn.
I had my wife and son in the car, man. We were racing. Let's go.
No chance. Zero chance.
Oh, man. You know, I'm not even joking. You know that my wife seriously still bugs me every couple weeks about when we're moving to Germany.
Oh,
like, she liked it that much.
Really? Yeah. I can't blame
her. Tell her that it doesn't have HBO Max.
But you get your vaccine first in the US, and then you come to Germany.
Yeah, we'll get our vaccines, and then we'll come over. Yeah.
Except the whole strain is different over there, so they're not going to work. No, I love Germany. I'm just joking around.
What's going on, guys? Pampa, Chris, Kima, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Wanted to touch on this just before we get to what we're currently playing. No big news here, but I do find it interesting just because I like them as a studio. And that is Bloober Team. Obviously just released the Medium. We reviewed it, a pretty good critical praise overall. They're working on another horror IP. Shocking, I know. But they said specifically they're working with a major publisher, and it's going to surprise some people. This was the CEO that came out and said that this week. Now, there were quick rumors that this might have been Silent Hill, But if you're kind of paying attention, because I love these horror games, Silent Hill has already been confirmed to be by Konami themselves to be worked on. It is coming. It's being worked on, but it's being worked on by a Japanese dev. So Bloober Team's not working on Silent Hill, that's kind of a shame. I would have liked to seen what they would have done with Silent Hill. But, this is still exciting. Obviously, this started to swirl rumors because the rumors have been for a long time now that Bloober Team may do something with Xbox kind of permanently, whether it's the whole acquisition word we're going to throw out there or something else. But yeah, I'm personally excited about this. I love Bloober Team. I love their work. And I love seeing them continually to get bigger and bigger over the years. So if they're working on something even more major with another big publisher and are well funded, man, I'm definitely excited about this.
What is going to surprise people? The publisher or the IP?
The IP.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't know that about Silent Hill, that it's been confirmed by Konami to be from a Japanese dev. That's new to me, because in my mind it still was hopefully Silent Hill that they are working on. Good to know. Yeah. I mean, Bloober Team, like you said, you can continually see how they improve from game to game. And the medium was just amazing. I really enjoyed that game. I was so surprised by how well it was written. The atmosphere, the sound design was incredible.
It was the best since Hellblade, in my opinion.
Yeah, agree, 100%. Then I'm thinking right now, what could it be? Which big horror IP could they do now?
I'm wondering, because they did Blair Witch, of course, which was a movie IP. Yeah. So I'm starting to rack my mind of, okay, what's a big horror movie IP or something that's well established in horror kind of franchise or genre, I guess is a better word.
Might be onto something there. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a video game IP. You're right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it could be. We just saw Friday the 13th, which was unique and kind of died just due to the developer support. But I mean, there's Halloween, there's Nightmare on Elm Street, there's things like Exorcist.
Had a Stephen King game.
Stephen King. I mean, there's all kinds of licenses out there where you could create something like that. So anyway, I just thought it'd be an interesting conversation because I would love to see something even bigger from them. Pampa says in the chat right now, he brings up Condemned, which continues to be one of my favorite horror games of all time. Mentioning the game will have combat. So the first thing that came to his mind was Condemned, which would be awesome. Lee Watson, what's up, Lee? Good to see you. Give Bloober The Shining. Could you imagine if they did a Shining game where you go to the hotel? That would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the story would be there, of course, because that's pretty direct, but that would still be, from an environmental standpoint, that could be incredible. So, Dan, I know you'll be buying it on day one no matter what.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. See, now there was you see all these stupid rumors, that there were one or then there were two games, and that now it's a Japanese publisher, but it couldn't.
Oh, for Silent Hill, you mean?
Yeah, for Silent Hill. Now, couldn't one be like a remake? And then one be like a new version of the game, or new. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the rumors.
Yeah. So the most up to date thing I've seen is that it's two different Silent Hill projects are in the work, just projects, whatever that means, and that the core one is being developed by a Japanese developer, but they haven't said if it's new, remake, what have you. Don't know.
Yeah. All right. So I mean, technically, they could be working on Silent Hill. Like a remake of the first.
Who?
Bloober.
Oh, yeah. I guess if there's multiple projects, that's true. I guess.
Projects, right?
Yeah.
Plus, you have what's his face, the audio designer or the guy that does the music, is working with them, right? For their next project.
Yeah, he wrote the music. Yeah.
I forget his name. Yeah.
Me too. But he's got, they've got those two things going for him. A lot of signs are pointing to it. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I do know that I won't be playing it.
Of course, Joe in chat says, I'm telling you, the publisher is Sony. I'm banking on it because the last rumor was Blue Point on Metal Gear Solid, which is, I think that's the prevailing rumor at the moment. The one interesting thing, if you really want to go down the rabbit hole and put your tinfoil hat on, so we'll go with our tinfoil hat segment here. is that I think it was Miles over at Windows Central noticed that the Silent Hill official Twitter account, so the actual IP official Twitter account, it only follows 25 people total, and like 6 of them are Xbox executives. So they follow obviously Xbox, Phil Spencer, Major Nelson, Aaron Greenberg, kind of all those guys. So, and we, there's just so many rumors right now. We have no idea. And that's why we don't talk too much about them. Between rumors and acquisitions, Jesus Christ, you could make a 5-hour video of just, it's out of control. But it won't, let me say this. It won't surprise me if either Sony or Microsoft have sewn up some sort of Silent Hill game, because the return of Silent Hill would be a very big thing.
Wait, what if the Japanese publisher was Kojima Productions? He's supposed to be working on a horror game. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, Kojima published by Sony. Maybe
Kojima would work with Konami.
Yeah, the Konami Kojima thing is the issue there. But maybe they've patched it up.
After what went down, I doubt that.
Maybe his ego, went down a little bit.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
And produced by Kojima, nothing else by Kojima.
No.
Yeah,
they'd be like, okay, you have to say that you directed this game, but that's it. We're going to produce and everything. He's like, no,
I'm out.
Forget it. I'm out.
Too much.
All right, guys, let's talk about what we're currently playing. I know Archie, I've seen your posts about Division 2 and revisiting as well, which I really kicked back into gear a couple days ago myself. I've just been playing solo, and I need to group up with some of you guys because it's amazing.
Dirty knees, baby.
Dirty knees are back. Yeah. So if you need a clan, if you don't have a clan, we didn't create a seasoned gaming one. Dan created the Dirty Knees. So they're out there.
Dirty Knees. I have to search for it because I don't have a clan.
Come on in, man.
But I love it. The game is absolutely amazing. I bought the Warlord of New York DLC.
Yeah.
Finished that the other day.
Nice.
It's awesome. So the campaign of it, of course, but there's a lot of endgame content now. Opening up the new season just started. I'm really digging it again. I need to find a group. I've never played a raid in Destiny 2.
Division 2?
Because you have to have 8 players. I've never been able to gather 8 players at the same time. But I'd love to do that because I'm really having such a good time with the game again.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to play it right after this show.
Let's do it, man. Make sure you've got me on. I know Sarko, who's in the chat, good buddy of mine, he plays it. Dan plays. There's definitely we can get a group together. I know Sham and some of the other guys were talking about doing a raid too. I
haven't done any of the raids.
They're tough. I mean, they're tough. Yeah, I've done a couple of them, and you really do need a group that's in the chat and has builds kind of focused for individual things you want to do. Like you need your DPS guy that's going to sit up front. You need a tank. You need someone who's going to sit back and use skills to kind of debuff the enemies and heal. And so you really have to coordinate. But when you get a group together working kind of cohesively, it's really fun.
Have you heard? Have you tried the tower yet?
No. So my future son-in-law, who was over last night, I was talking about to you guys prior. He was telling me about it, and what he really said to me was interesting, which I think more loot games need to do is you go in the tower, but he said you can set the loot pool ahead of time. So you can set, for instance, what the harder enemies, if you're looking for like a specific gear set, there's different loot pools you can set, which gives you a better chance of getting those gear pieces.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to get sucked back into it. I tried it out a little bit too since the update, and there's a lot you have to like relearn it.
I literally had him show me stuff for like 15, 20 minutes because I hadn't played it in a long time, and there's so much to it.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. And some of the mechanics are really not self-explanatory.
No.
What's the English word?
No.
They don't explain themselves. I still haven't really figured out how that recalibration shit works because I never have the abilities to recalibrate something. And yeah, there are a lot of mechanics and so much content where you really don't know what should you play next. But it's fun. The mechanics are so good. Plays so well in 60 FPS.
Yeah, and it's really, really beautiful. The other thing I was thinking about, and I was going to post just some screenshots on Twitter, is that, I know we've joked about Ubisoft over episodes, but we have given them a lot of credit for continuing to improve their games. From a free perspective. I mean, if you just look at the amount of content in a game like Division 2, obviously what they've done with Immortals, and whether it's a 7 or not, Valhalla, you
release River Raids for it.
I'd say it again. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, no matter what you think from a critical perspective, they do a fantastic job of continuing to let their developers update those games. And sure, you can go into Division 2 and you can spend real money on stupid looking cosmetics. And people do. And that's fine. Yeah, but that's fine, right? It doesn't impact the game. You don't have to spend it. If people want to, great. But Ubisoft, in my opinion, when I look across all of your major publishers, and Xbox does a good job with their first party stuff too. If you look at State of Decay, Sea of Thieves, etc. I mean, they continue to update those extensively. But Ubisoft, they're making their money, obviously, and they're worth more than they've ever been worth. But you look at Legion and Valhalla and Division 2, Siege. Is there a better example than Siege?
No.
I mean, they're just crushing it with continued support of their titles and keeping them fresh. And as we talked about last week, they said purely due to community support, they're going to continue with Division 2, and we're going to get more new content down the line, which is, I think that needs to be celebrated more and talked about more.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
They do a great job. I mean, it's in. Yeah,
Oh, and sorry, Dan. And they're the only major publisher who's given us all these next gen updates.
Yeah,
that are awesome.
Right, and they've introduced cross progression now. In a lot of their games. So it's they haven't done it for the Division 2 yet, but I think you can do it through like PC and Stadia. But who cares at this point? If you're not already balls deep in like one of the ecosystems or other on that game, you're screwed anyway. Starting from scratch is pretty tough unless you've got a lot of people.
What game?
Division 2.
I mean, there's a lot. Yeah,
there's a lot. And but yeah, they've done an amazing job. Like I said, River Raids just came out. Tried that the other day. Pretty good. I mean, that was one of my favorite parts of the game was the river raiding.
They were fun.
They were super fun. But yeah, my kids play, Rainbow Six all the time, and that's a lot of their money that they earn is put towards cosmetic stuff. And they can continue to and that's what they need to do. And that's the best kinds of microtransactions.
No doubt,
not really necessary.
No doubt.
So,
I've preached about Path of Exile before from an ARPG perspective. They've literally made that free to play game with expansions for like 7 or 8 years now, and never charge for anything that impacts the game.
Yeah,
which is it's amazing, And so if there's people that like the cosmetics, by all means, do it up.
Yeah.
So Sham says, it's the tower is the thing. So it's 1 to 100, and you can change your difficulty level. And he also says you can change your loot pool at any time. So that's really cool. That's even better, because that means obviously if you get the one piece you're looking for from this gear set, now you can switch it and start hunting for another one. So
that's cool.
Really cool.
Yeah,
very cool. So yeah, man. Like I said, the Dirty Knees is the name of the clan. Feel free to jump in, and let's get a group together, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, the Dirty Knees was created, by Diego, our Dinero Primero, our graphic artist. That was his idea. Is because when we play, a lot of times we are on our knees, trying to
crawling around because
crawling around to get revived
because you've been down.
That's the Dirty Knees.
I would like to say I do a better job at that. I don't know.
I'm a
then
big.
We definitely need a Champ, because I've been playing with him recently, and I learned that he has a healer build. So
yeah, they're critical. Like if you're doing a raid, you need like 1 or 2 healers, 100%. Yeah. So Talzachi, I think I'm pronouncing that properly. Talzachi, got my season gaming birch. Feels good. Always catch your pod at work. Keep it up. Mass Effect 1 is the GOAT, not 2. Preach it. Preach it. 2 was an action game, not an RPG. I didn't pay for this.
Yeah,
I didn't pay for this quote.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like, here, I'm going to send you some free season gaming merch. Finally got it in the mail. Also, here's a PayPal for $5. I understand how this stuff works. It doesn't matter.
Oh man, that's awesome. Talzachi, thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Actually, I think it's this week, not to change the subject, but on our merch. If you don't know, merch is on our site. You can find it. donate. All of the profit goes to charities. The 2 charities we support, which is Special Effect in the UK and Able Gamers in the US. And I'm actually getting ready to send the first one for 2021. I wait a couple months and then bundle up and send those donations over. So that's it's going next week, man. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, now that I'm back on Mass Effect 1 being the best, I lost my train of thought.
Nah.
Arch, what else have you been playing, man? Besides Division 2?
I just wanted to check out the God of War patch with 60 FPS, so I booted that up, and now I'm back doing full replay. Man, it looks insanely good on the PlayStation 5.
Excellent.
And plays so well with 60 FPS. I'm probably halfway through now. I've been playing that. Just played the medium. What else? Destiny 2. Although I have to admit that I'm taking a little break right now because I'm playing so much Division, and you can't do 2 of those.
That's true.
And then I've been jumping a lot of in between a couple of older games because I wanted to do a couple of screen captures for one of my upcoming videos.
Okay.
But mainly it's God of War and the Division. Those are the 2 big ones right now. Yeah.
Nice. I haven't checked out Division yet with the. We just talked Division. I haven't checked out God of War yet with the update, but I've heard nothing but good things.
Insanely good. It's not just the 60 FPS. It is also that basically all the checkerboarded 4K is gone, and you more or less get a stable 4K, crispy, sharp image all the time at 60 frames, and it really looks good.
Man, gosh. Yeah, it's like I want to go back to God of War. I installed Ghost of Tsushima on my PS5.
Yeah.
I still got to load up a PS4 and upload my save, which drives me nuts. But I've already talked about that. But I'm hearing nothing but good things, and I hope Sony, the one I really hope for next, just because despite all the qualms and debates we've had about it, I really want to go through Last of Us 2 again. But
yes,
I want to wait. Like, where is that? Come on,
where is that patch? Yeah.
I feel like that should be out within the next month or 2. Like there should be no excuse.
Naughty Dog's like, how big are they now? 300-400 devs?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and all your other first party games have had updates, right? Like if you think through, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, I'm forgetting some. Days Gone.
Days Gone in 60 FPS. Awesome.
It is.
I went back, played a little bit. Amazing.
I think we're playing the same game because I literally played through an entire playthrough of God of War this week.
Jesus Christ.
Now, bear in mind, this is a straight story.
Yeah, gotcha.
Twist here and there for the dwarves, and that was it. So it went actually pretty fast. But God, it's nuts. Like I was just like, I'm gonna start a new game plus, see how it looks. Next thing you know, I'm like, damn, I forgot how good this story is.
Oh yeah,
good. Just like really like no loading times. Everything's kind of just intercut, and they just didn't. It's so good.
Yeah, such a good game.
Yeah,
such a good game.
Yeah, I played that, and actually I started playing another new game plus of Days Gone just to see how that looked, and it looks awesome. And Division 2, a little bit of that, a little bit of Control, more Hitman.
Kind of all over the place.
I am. I'm really, I got, the one thing that I haven't played is my newest game is the Mario game because my son keeps taking my Switch to go play Animal Crossing because he's saving up for
right. That reminds me. I played a little bit of Hades on the Switch. I started that. I always play that in bed when my wife. Usually, my wife and I we watch Netflix and then fall asleep and have the TV on timer. But recently, she always turns off the TV, and then that's why I have my Switch now on my nightstand, and when she falls asleep, I'm just starting to play the Switch, and I started Hades there. Only played about like 3 or 4 hours now, but fun game, definitely.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it, and obviously they announced the physical release this week, which excited me. But I continue to wait. I really want it on PS5 or Series X. So we'll see if we get it. I see Fastback says he's finishing up Watchdog's Legion. That's another game I want to go back to. And funny enough, I I got invited to the damn Legion online technical test this past weekend, and I forgot to log in. I never even tried it.
I did.
Did you? Was it any good?
It was all right. You know, I think about Legion though. I mean,
yeah, I know it's not your favorite game. See, I really loved it. And again, I started talking about Division, and I completely forgot my train of thought. What I was going to say, other than Ubisoft continuing to improve their games and offer updates for them, is, in my opinion, they do a really good job at world building. So as I was going back through the Division 2 and I was looking at the cityscape and like things you find around the city, like the graffiti and, it feels like a city that's actually living, that it's been lived in. And I felt that way about Legion as well. And I feel they do a really good job of that. Whereas there's a lot of games that are big and open and stuff, but they just feel dead.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion is a great example. It really feels like a living city. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that. That's one of the key things about my review is that it felt that way. It felt like you're walking around a city, and all the little details you could find were just really impressive. And I feel the same about Division 2. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that was an amazing part of the game. My problem was it was basically the same thing over and over and over again. I mean,
no Legion hate in here.
You could do the same thing.
You could. You could.
I mean, it didn't push you to try different things, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you didn't have to. Yeah, you didn't have to. Pong says Star Wars on Snowdrop Engine is going to be amazing. Yeah, I mean, talented group. So.
Yeah, I was with HTK here. I did that. That was my go-to cargo drone.
The cargo drone was awesome.
It was amazing. I mean, that's all you had to do. It's just like, yep, I'm cargo droning over here. Gonna cargo drone over this thing. Gonna cargo drone over this. Like, damn, why would I do anything else?
The cargo drone was really slow, though.
Yeah, but it didn't matter because nobody ever saw you because nobody can look up.
Yeah. It's not wrong. It's not wrong.
Spider-Man. You know, why don't these people just go like this? And oh, hey, there's Spider-Man. But no, never, ever, no enemies will just look up. It's a problem with several games. Spider-Man's probably the worst offender by far. Like, just look up, dudes. Come on, AI. I mean, you can literally take out 30 guys. None of them will ever see you. You know, there'll be guys hanging from webs 10 feet above their heads, and they won't see them. It drives me crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, it is. Well, that leads right back to the conversation we had about, world AI and reaction to actually things that are happening around you.
Yeah. Pay attention, people.
The only other thing I've been playing, well, let me talk about Control real quick. So been playing through Control. I would say I'm about halfway through it now. I don't want to. Yeah, so I'm kind of weird. It's really smooth on the PS5, so I'm glad I waited because the 60 frames, it just runs really good, and it feels good to kind of do all the combos. You know what I mean? Pick stuff up, throw it, shoot, float, all that. And I love Remedy games. I love the kind of mysticism around it, or the mystery around it, and the kind of it's horror-esque without being horror. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. The one thing that's starting to wear on me a little bit, though, is the going back to what you just said, Dan, is that every enemy encounter feels samey in a way. I walk in, there's 10 guys, smash them all with stuff from around the environment, finish them off, move on. And then on top of that, all the environments look very similar because you're in this building. Everything looks the damn same. And the map is horrendous. Horrendous. So
bad.
It's one of the worst game maps I think I've ever seen in a game. So what's really annoying me is, like, I love to explore, but if I go down a hallway, make a left, go somewhere, right, then I don't know where the hell I am. And it's like trying to find my way back is like a maze. It's weird to me. So I don't know. I'm mixed on it.
I really like the mechanics, the gameplay mechanics.
Yeah,
the powers feel awesome. Absolutely, no doubt. I mean, it's a beautiful game. I had the same issue with the map, and I didn't like the story at all, to be honest. It is. Yeah. I was constantly wondering what the hell is going on, and I was really hoping that in the end everything will be revealed. But no, I finished the game and I still didn't understand what was going on. So that's really the thing here. And I mean, it is a story-driven game. So for a story-driven game to have such a confusing story, I don't know.
Okay, I'm not alone because I'm Yeah, it lost me. I mean, I get some of the details, of course, but I don't really know what they're going for. So it's kind of disappointing to hear that. I'm like you. I'm about halfway through, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe this pulls together later on. But that's not a good sign.
That's not a good sign. Although I have to say that I'm not going to spoil, of course, anything, but there is one mission you have to do that is, I think the second, no, probably the last mission, the last real mission. This is designed so awesome that there's something happening that is from a pure gameplay mechanic standpoint is insanely good. So for that alone, you should play it till the end.
Okay. All right. I'll try and stick with it. I'll do my best. I don't know. Division 2 is really taking over again. Here's a comment. Shots fired at you, Dan. Go play a Yakuza game, then you can talk about repetitive gameplay.
It's the same game. It's from 1 until 6.
You're right.
But there's gameplay in a Yakuza game. All I see is cutscenes.
Yeah. It's all fighting. That's literally what it is. It's the story that brings you in.
Yeah. Fair enough. The only other thing that's kind of become funny in the community is PGA Tour 2K21. So Dan and I talked a lot about this last year because we were really disappointed that you could only use the swing stick, right? And so neither of us bought it. A bunch of people in the GBTB community, Bomber and Fork and Wilmy and everyone, Lady, have been playing it. And then now a lot of the SG groups been playing it. So Elu got it. He got like Mo and Jordan and everyone else into it. So now there's this like online gaming or a golfing society that's developed, which is quite hilarious. So I still refuse to play because I hate the swing stick. And then Elu went and bought it for me. So now I felt obligated to play. The only good thing I can tell you, Dan, is we played last night around together. And the nice thing is you can change settings like extensively, right? Mm-hmm. So what Elu did is he went in and he basically made it almost like a hard version of, not hard version, but a version of like Hot Shots Golf, where you have like the way your ball lies, the percentage if you're in the rough, you know what I mean? Like you have to factor for the distance. You can do like high wind. You can do all these things, but then you can make the swing stick to where, you still have to use it down and up, right? But the speed at which you move it, and the left to right doesn't really matter. It's just a motion.
Oh, so it's just up and down. So
it's just up and down. Yeah. So it's much more like playing what you and I hoped it was than if you play with like the normal professional settings where it's like if you slightly move it too slow, it screws up, or if you slightly move it too left, it screws up. Mm-hmm. So you can tune it to where it's more like what you and I were hoping. So
yeah, I'll wait for Mario Golf.
I'll wait for a realistic game. I'm going for Mario Golf. We have a huge DM. I'll play you, Ains. Paul, I'm not sure what game you're referring to, so just put it in chat. You said me. We have a huge DM. I'll play you, Ains. Maybe you're talking about golf or not. Just let me know. Anyway, guys, anything else you want to touch on before I kind of talk about some of the things we got coming up?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. So let me a couple updates for you. If you saw my post, I talked more about the good in gaming, which is something I'm turning into kind of a small little, not a campaign per se, but something I want to work on more consistently. So I did that big article that kind of got a lot of press a year and a half, 2 years ago or something. And I talked to a few people this week and kind of posted. I posted and asked for people to reach out to me. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, and you have examples of how gaming has helped you in your life, whether it be from a traumatic experience, whether it be from depression and anxiety, a bad time in your life, all these different things that we all deal with. Please reach out to me if you want to, obviously. Please reach out to me. Let me know if you'd like to share some of those stories. What I'm doing is working with a bunch of people across the community to put some of those examples together, and I'm going to do a follow-up to my article from a while ago using one of my own examples from people around the community. So I've been very, very surprised at how many people have reached out to me. It's almost overwhelming with just stories ranging from very light, this, I can't see my friends because they're far away, and so we stay in touch through gaming, all the way to the other end of the spectrum where you're talking about, very personal things and tough things to deal with in your life. So you can also share those stories with me and stay anonymous. So if you want the story to be told, but you don't want me to use your name, screen name, quote, anything, we can do that as well. So obviously it's completely up to you if you want to do that. So you can DM me. My DMs on Twitter are always open. You can DM me. You can also email me at aboden@seasongaming.com. And I'm kind of collecting those all together. So I can tell you, I've already had like tens of people reach out to me. So I think this is going to be a really good piece, and I look forward to sharing it in the next couple of weeks. I'm also working on the next industry perspective chat, so that'll be coming up soon. I'm also working with someone else for a thing for their channel later this week as well. So stay tuned for that. And then the last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is this week we get the Outriders demo. So Outriders is one of those games that I know many of us who play Division, Destiny, etc. have been looking forward to, and the demo comes out for next weekend. So we'll be talking about that a lot next weekend. But I know we talked about Division and etc. Are you guys excited for that one?
Super excited. I played the alpha.
Okay.
Did you actually play it?
Yeah, did you? Because I tried. It failed every time I tried to play it.
No problem. I know a lot of people told me that, I couldn't get in. I had absolutely zero problems. I played it. I had a ton of fun with it. It reminds me a lot of Mass Effect, to be honest. Mass Effect mixed with a little bit of Gears of War from the gameplay perspective.
Mm-hmm.
With light RPG mechanics. It is really good. It is. I played as the pyromancer class, and I had so much fun with the game. The story from how it started, you could play like the first act of the game or something like that. The story is really good. Like I said, total Mass Effect vibes. Don't think Destiny or Division. Think more Mass Effect. Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, I can take Mass Effect with loot.
Yeah.
It's almost like Mass Effect 1. The better, you know what I mean? It's more like an RPG then.
You just said this.
Sham says the same thing. Like, that alpha. Literally, I had that thing where every time I got the character creation, it would just crash my Xbox every single time. And I probably tried almost 10 times and different days, and it would never launch. So,
I'm sorry. I hope that the demo runs better.
Yeah, hopefully the demo's good. But go ahead, Dan.
It's got like I'm getting like Anthem, Marvel Avengers vibes.
Stop it.
From like in a bad way. So I'll try the demo for sure. But even after that, it's going to have to be outstanding, like right up front to actually convince me to stick with it and, buy it on launch. I just don't want it to be that. I know you can play it through single player. I know it's probably mostly meant for a co-op experience. I haven't really been keeping up on it only because I'm worried that it'll, kind of go that route where it's like, it's initially great. And then, 10, 12 hours later, you're like, God damn it. No,
they got me again.
I really didn't get that feeling. It is really not a games as a service game. You can really tell that. It's not a games as a service title. So you really have to think it is a action RPG. In a sci-fi universe, you have an open world with a lot of side missions. You have the typical RPG things, where you get different side stories, sidelines, and you have a skill tree. But it's not a games as a service title.
Interesting. That's and I've heard that, and they've said that, right? So, I mean, it's very clear that's not what they're going for. But I wonder how they keep content and endgame fresh.
I'm not sure if that they have to do that. They said it takes you about 40 to 50 hours to finish the main game.
Okay.
I mean, come on, that's a good.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. If it's a complete experience, then that's fair.
Yeah. Yep. And if you then have a good ending, I mean, come on, did The Witcher have an end game?
Yeah.
No, it's a single player game, and they push it as such. That's fine, I mean, but when you think of games like this and think of games, as a service. I know this isn't one of them. God, what was that one that kind of popped to mind? The one where you were kind of like a archaeologist, kind of. It was a 4-player co-op game. Damn it, Strange Brigade.
Oh yeah,
it kind of maybe something like that. That really wasn't a games as a service either, but it was kind of like a 4-player co-op
narrative
game. And I really didn't like that game either. But this the setting for me is what's going to sell me if I get it. Is and it being a little bit Mass Effect-y. You had me going there for a minute, then you said Gears of War gameplay, and I was like, God damn it, and we were going backwards. So
hey,
we'll see how it goes. I still like Gears, but it's just we'll see. I'm not going to jump into this one head first.
Well, that's why it's good we get a demo, right?
Yeah,
check it out.
Thank God we get a demo.
Yeah,
on this one. But the thing is, when they first showed it, I was just like, damn, this looks awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. When I was playing it, I was really wondering how the co-op will work in such a game, because it is a heavily story-driven game. So that really makes co-op difficult, in my opinion, because where do you jump in? I mean, if you Ains come into my game and I'm like 3 chapters further into the game, you won't get the story or get spoiled or whatever.
You'll miss a bunch of stuff.
I have more the feeling that this is really as more a single player game that can be played in co-op, but I still haven't figured out how they want to make that issue work, because it is a story-driven game.
Yeah, interesting. All right, well,
I'll
be checking it out here in a few days. So we'll be 25th, so Thursday, I think.
Nice.
Is that right?
Yep. Sure.
Wednesday or Thursday, but we'll be talking about it a lot more next weekend, of course. So check us out next week, and we'll be having a lot more coverage of that in the future as well. So I think Steve actually for our site is going to do a write-up on the demo next week, as well as the formal review for the game like a month later. It comes out April 1st, right? So
nothing can go wrong there.
Oh man. So all right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks to everyone in chat. You've been awesome today. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already hit that like button, please do, and leave us a comment, or just share us out. Obviously, Ark, brother, always great to have you on. You're one of our regulars, and as we always say, you'll definitely be back again in the near future. Let's not take so long next time. Let's make it a regular thing. But go ahead and shout out the channel and what you're up to.
Yeah, first of all, thanks again for having me. It's always a pleasure here talking with you guys. Gaming, I always have a great time. I enjoy myself, so I'm glad to come back. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, my channel can be found at Boxenberger basically everywhere. Yeah. On Twitter, here on YouTube, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, everywhere, Boxenberger. I just uploaded a video this week about the FPS Boost and how it works and what the limitations are, which games will get it or can, in theory, get it, and which won't. So if you want to learn more about the FPS Boost, definitely check that out. And again, thanks for having me.
Fantastic. And a very good video. I already commented on it, of course. But yeah, very good video. So please do check that out and check out the channel. Ark does some really good work. So it goes without saying. Dan, Rihanna, man, what are you guys up to tonight?
That's it. We're gonna go to like Steak and Shake or something. She's not a gold digger, so she
doesn't need to be one.
She doesn't need to be one, right? So she appreciates me for me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, and then I don't know what's going to happen tonight. If it's like everything else, it's going to be pretty dry. But
stop. All right,
happy birthday, Rihanna.
Happy birthday, Rihanna. That's an interesting way to close a gaming show, but here we are. Thank you, everyone. Chat, you've been awesome. If you're listening to this later, thank you so much for the support as always, and we will see you next week. That was Bitcast 142. Cheers.